Really interesting stuff in the battle royales this week as we have a game with a total that honestly is as large as I can remember seeing. As of right now, the Washington Commanders Dallas Cowboys total is up to 55.5, which is far and away the highest total of a game that we've seen this year. I mean, I don't have access to like a great repository or database for any of these, but it's the highest total game that I can personally remember. I remember a 53.5 between the Aaron Rodgers Packers and the Tom Brady Patriots. It was quite a long time ago, but a regular season 55, I'm having a hard time remembering that. And the players are not that expensive, relatively speaking. No first rounders for the Cowboys. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson are the only draftable Cowboys players. I probably will not find myself taking any Kevontae Turpin or Jalen Tolbert. Same deal for the Commanders. No first rounders. You have Debo, who is 18.8 in BR. Bill Krosky Merritt, who is a third rounder. McLaurin, who has returned to practice. And then Zach Ertz, whose targets per route run have steadily declined the last few weeks. I know he did end up having a good game. What was that? Monday Night Football? My goodness, man. The brain, it boggles. So, as always, we are going to do the gems, the skeleton keys at every position. At quarterback, really, it's pretty simple this week. If it's not Jane Daniels, Dak Prescott, or Patrick Mahomes, you are going to see a pretty big ownership discount. I'm going to guess that those are going to be the only three quarterbacks that are 100% drafted. I don't think Jalen Hurts will be 100%. I don't think Drake may. I feel very confident that Caleb Williams will not be 100% drafted. And that does lead you to believe, I mean, those are the three teams with far and away the highest team totals. What percentage of your teams should you have those guys on? Generally speaking, I do not go overweight on the expensive quarterbacks. I find that to be that is the easiest position in which you can create replacements, but the ownership is going to be overwhelming. Like, do I really want to go into this week 7 BR slate with 50% Jane Daniels? Probably not, even though he is available in the second round. Looking at the Run the Sims projections, and this is FanDuel scoring, so it's not exactly 1-to-1, but it is half PPR. You've got Mahomes for 23, Daniels for 23, Dak for 21, Herbert slightly behind, as ADP would dictate, sitting there at 20.7. You've got Caleb Williams for 19, Drake May for 19, Jalen Hurts for 18.9, which, looking at ADP, well, it's exactly what you'd think. The guys are basically going in the order of their Run the Sims projection. You've got Daniel Jones. I actually just, I disagree with this projection. I think that Daniel Jones should be projected a little bit higher, I would guess, if I pulled up the back end on Run the Sims, which I'm allowed to do. I don't know if I will. I don't want to mess with anything without checking with Utica or with Adam. I would guess our rushing TD rates, and I can actually pull up the premium sim runner if I wanted, but I would guess the rushing TD rate on Daniel Jones is a little low. You know what? Actually, it's my own program. Let's just do that right now. Let's pull up the sim runner and look at what Daniel Jones' rushing touchdown rate is. Let's go classic FanDuel to get the half PPR. Main, pull up the Indiana. So Daniel Jones for a 16% touchdown market share might be indicative of the way it's gone. It's got to be way higher than that. I think I'd put him closer to 25%, which would add a point and a half to his projection. You guys are going to get sick of this segment, but your skeleton key at quarterback this week, it's Daniel Jones. I mean, it's the same way it's been. Daniel Jones has way easier access to a 25-point ceiling than Jordan Love, than Bo Nix, even Jackson Dart, Bryce Young, Tua, Gabriel, all these guys. I don't think really any of these guys are particularly draftable in BRs this week. The guy that is fascinating is, what do you do with Justin Fields? Justin Fields is a very interesting player in general for fantasy because his rush rate is going to be absurd. Run the Sims has Justin Fields for 18 points with a 28% share of the team's rushes. Their team total at 20.5 is not small. 20.5 in today's NFL, when you don't have any wide receivers, is not particularly small. Justin Fields obviously always does run. I would not correlate Justin Fields with anyone. I would not correlate Justin Fields with Mason Taylor. I wouldn't correlate him with Josh Reynolds. If you are taking Justin Fields in BRs this week as one of the key parts of your strategy, what you are doing is you're saying, this dude runs for 100 yards. He gets 2 touchdowns. He throws for a touchdown to whoever, to Allen Lazard, and finds his way to make himself into the optimal lineup. But more than any other week I can remember, my personal strategy is going to be to concentrate on these top 3 guys: Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, and Dak Prescott. The Kansas City Chiefs, in games that Worthy has played, are number 1 in the NFL in EPA, number 1 in the NFL in EPA per play. Patrick Mahomes leads the NFL in dropbacks. He gets Rashee Rice back this week. To me, it just feels like a total layup spot. You are often able to get him with your 3rd or 4th selection. I've already gotten a 4th round Mahomes. Although quarterback 2 ahead of Dak, you could argue is a little bit rich. I was Go ask the Deposit Kingdom Discord about my attempt to run a sim for Battle Royale. I've been arguing and fighting as someone who is not particularly technically proficient to try and run a Battle Royale sim with ChatGPT's help in Python, and turns out there's a level of intelligence and mathematical dexterity required for that I'm not quite at. But these are going to be my most 5 drafted quarterbacks: Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields. Of course, you want to have some Hurts, AJ Brown. I prefer May uncorrelated as opposed to trying to force him in with Diggs or with Hunter Henry. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams Rome, Caleb Williams Luther Burden. That's all fine. Herbert, I'm just a little bit less hip to Herbert because he has not shown the ceiling. I mean, the guy just gets like 18 points every single week, and I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know if it's Harbaugh's fault. I don't know if it's Roman's fault. But just going back historically, we have not seen a truly nuclear ceiling for Justin Herbert, and that's even with his scramble rate being up a little bit. I prefer Daniel Jones in these games to Justin Herbert at a little bit of a total ownership discount. Not that there's much of a difference between a 34.2 and a 35.2 ADP, but that's how I'm feeling about the quarterback position. The running back position, very interesting because the first round is all running backs. You have Jonathan Taylor, you've got Josh Jacobs, Quinshon Judkins showing up, I think would surprise many people. But the Miami Dolphins defense just gave up back-to-back, like, historical rushing games, including allowing Rico Dowdle to just stomp all over them, and then Kamani Vidal. Taylor, Jacobs, A-Chain, Barkley, Judkins are all first-round picks. They all, I think, are quite strong. Taylor projects incredible. A-Chain projects incredible. I have noticed, just looking around projections, Breece Hall is projected way, 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 way better than you would think. Part of that is the matchup against the Carolina Panthers. Part of that is that it's hard to assign work to other running backs. I'm curious about Judkins being projected for 14.3. I wonder if that changes at any given point. I don't even know how out of line that is with the projections market. I haven't even started that part of my process yet. Barkley, to me, feels uniquely bad. He just, I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know if it's the Eagles' offensive line. His longest rush on the season is 18 yards. He is not working well in the passing game. Here's a fun fact for you. Saquon Barkley actually is averaging 3.2 receptions per game. That's a lot of receptions per game for a running back in a run-heavy offense, but he's just not able to generate anything with it. He only has the 1 receiving touchdown. He has three rushing touchdowns. His success rate is 41.1%. That's brutal. He's averaging 54 rushing yards per game after averaging 125 rushing yards per game last year. Again, I don't know if it's Saquon Barkley's fault. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I don't know if it is the new offensive coordinator, Mike Patullo. I don't know if it's Jalen Hurts. But I know that it is hard for me at this stage to really want to be overweight on Barkley. I wouldn't be taking him over A-Chain. It's hard for me to even say he should definitely go ahead of Judkins, who gets this legendary matchup against Miami. Javonte Williams, easiest jam of the slate. Javonte Williams' usage last week was totally fine. He just didn't score a touchdown. Again, in this insanely high total, he feels very good. And then the same for Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Looking at this stuff, I mean, I actually think Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt might even be a better pick than Rico Dowdle. I think Breece Hall, as evidenced by all the projections. I mean, Breece Hall, dude, it is. You want to talk about layup spots. Like if Breece Hall cannot get it done this week, it's never happening for him. And I would think that the projections on him would start to adjust in sort of a Jacoby Myers-esque way, where after a hot start to the season and a lot of middling usage, the projections will start to adjust his efficiency in a relatively meaningful way. But Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt is an absolute flag plant for me. I know that he's not a scroll, but you can easily get 20% of him in these games if you want. Scatterboo and Jeanty do not feel nearly as good to me. Scatterboo projected basically the same as Judkins. Fairly bearish Rico Dowdle projection here. But the rest of these guys, like, they just don't feel that strong to me. Jeanty, I mean, the workload's going to be there, projected for the same as DeAndre Swift, 15.23 here with FanDuel scoring. It is just my opinion that it's going to be very hard for the Las Vegas Raiders with Geno playing the way he is to hang with them. You want Jeanty in a positive game script. I know he only scored the one touchdown. I think he had 77 yards last week. I would like Jeanty a lot more if I thought he was going to be on a lower amount of rosters, but seeing that he is going to be almost 100% drafted, maybe more like 80% drafted for Ashton Jeanty, and maybe he will even find himself falling after a while because Breece is going to end up going way up. DeAndre Swift is a guy who projects very well, who's going to end going all the way up. And then I actually think the guy that we were just talking about, we've got DeAndre Swift, and Kamani Vidal gets a clear gold star from me. The work that Kamani Vidal got, basically indistinguishable from Amarian Hampton in terms of the role that he had. And Amarian Hampton, when he was still available, when he was still around for us, was a first-round pick. If we look over here at the Fantasy Live usage stuff, Week 6 for Kamani Vidal, 88 utilization rate, 67% of the snaps, 72% of the team's rush attempts. Let's compare that to the Week 3, 4, and 5 Amarian Hampton usage. 93 utilization rate, 75% of the snaps, 68% of the rush attempts, 15% of the team's targets. Basically, you sub out Amarian Hampton for Kamani Vidal inside of this offense. I would imagine that Vidal's average draft position over the course of the next 2 days is probably going to end up rising to about where Jeanty is going. And I know that no one likes it. For whatever reason, we kind of just all really dislike this player. But DeAndre Swift he just is just a lot better than we give him credit for. 80 utilization rate, 60% of the team's rush attempts, 52% of the team's routes, 13% of the team's targets. He plays the short down and distance. He also plays the long down and distance. He also plays the 2-minute drill. It is a bad weather game, actually, in Chicago this week. If we pull up the Roto Grinders weather report from the inimitable, I think that's right. I think the inimitable Kevin Roth, he has that game as a clear situation where the weather is going to be bad. New Orleans Saints at Chicago. Looks like most of the rain clears pregame. The lingering shower is not the question. Sustained wind should come in 50 miles an hour with wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. That could impact some longer throws and field goals. Just while we're here on the weather page for Miami and Cleveland, bunch of rain. Greater interest is the wind. Quote, right now models show strong winds pregame, strong winds postgame, modest 10 to 15 mile per hour winds in game. Timing of that isn't locked in, so I think we need to monitor. So basically, a windy game A lot of reason to draft Judkins, a lot of reason to draft DeAndre Swift. As Benny says, sometimes we need to just cover a player's name and just look at a number, perhaps. Other guys, I mean, I think you can work in, like if you told me you were clicking Dobbins, if you told me you were clicking Kamara, if you told me you were clicking Pacheco, Ramondre, I mean, if we think that, exactly, if Vrabel decides he wants to embarrass the Titans, it could be a legendary Drake game, could also be a legendary Ramondre game. What would be more embarrassing than dunking on the team that fired you with Ramondre Stevenson, who cannot stop fumbling the ball for any reason? Ramondre feels like, I mean, how many teams is Ramondre Stevenson even going to be on in the massive BR? Like maybe 100, maybe 200, maybe 300, something like that. Like really not a high degree. But the guys you were looking at right here, JCM, Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, and Kamani Vidal are going to make a big part of my personal strategy that I'm going to be using in the draft games on Underdog this week. Wide receiver is a very nuanced conversation. The wide receiver skeleton keys are, you're going to have a lot of rational and reasonable people disagreeing on what to be done with the wide receiver position. Jefferson obviously projects incredible. Rome does not project near as good. CD Lamb has not been added back into the projections on Run the Sims yet. When he does, Pickens is going to go down. Obviously, CD Lamb is going to end up either as the highest projected or the second highest projected. I would say right now, CD Lamb, before he gets this Q tag removed, basically the best click on the slate. I am assuming that CD Lamb is going to play. And if CD Lamb does play and you're able to get him in the second round, like you will be able to, in many drafts, pair whoever you want, right? Devin A-Chain and CD Lamb. Maybe Josh Jacobs, CD Lamb. Like that pairing is absurd. Rashee Rice, you might notice him sitting there, the cover boy here, going at 8.1. This is my true expectation. I think that first off, Rashee Rice is going to be targeted on the Chiefs' first play from scrimmage. I mean, you could just go ahead and set your watch by that. You could probably, whatever the odds are on your sports book of choice for that, Chiefs' first play is a Rashee Rice reception. I mean, that's good to minus 10,000. That would be my favorite prop bet of the week if that was something that is offered. I am totally happy to take Rashee Rice at 8.1. I think that the Chiefs offense is like fully back in death mode territory, Death Star rather. And Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy are both phenomenal plays this week in draft games on BR, given their respective cost and given their respected ownerships. Now, Rome, I have a tough time with taking him over some of the tight ends that you have to take him with. I mean, I think obviously he is fine. I would guess that a sim-based process will probably move Rome down a good bit, which is fairly interesting. Debo, obviously, I wouldn't consider him a skeleton key. Lad McConkey, I do not like this price for Lad. I think so much of what we've gained by drafting Lad McConkey in the most recent couple weeks as leverage on the field. Leverage because he himself was not 100% drafted. Leverage because our opponents were drafting Quentin Johnston. Leverage because our opponents were drafting Keenan Allen. Leverage because our opponents were drafting Marion Hampton. You are not gaining that leverage with him this week. Jalen Waddle is a little bit tougher for me to deal with as well. I know that he projects really strong, but I am quite concerned about that game environment this week. It's harder for me to get there. Same deal with Tedderoy and McMillan. That game is going to be super fast paced, but not in a way that is good for fantasy. Both of these teams are going to run. I mean, we might see fewer than 50 combined dropbacks in this game, which would just kind of be like historically low. AJ Brown does not project all that well, but there's just no way I'm going to be on the outside looking in on the AJ Brown explosion game. The AJ Brown explosion game is certainly coming, And I'm not going to be a part of that one. Obviously, Xavier Worthy is huge leverage on second round pick Rashee Rice. Also, just like a huge part of their offense. Comes back from his injury, gets 130 scrimmage yards, then gets 9 targets with a rush, scores a touchdown last week. They barely have to use him against the Lions. If you guys, again, like if your personal opinion is, oh, the Chiefs are overrated, they're doing like it's this, they're gonna run the ball, then don't draft him. Like I totally get that. I can only tell you my perspective on it, which is that Worthy looks as if he is ascending to his postseason levels in terms of quality of play. The shoulder seems healthy. The ankle against the Lions seems like it was much healthier than it was from 2 weeks ago. So he feels very strong. God help me. Chris Olave has 21 targets the most recent 2 weeks. The Chicago Bears defense has been one of the worst units in the NFL. It's just, if you are a projections-based drafter and you are like, if you are valuing projections at all, I think that you have to choose to value Olave. I don't think that you can be like, okay, well, I like all these projections and I like the math that goes into these projections, but I don't like Chris Olave because Chris Olave stinks. Chris Olave, first off, was 2 yards away from 100 yards last week. He also had his hands on a touchdown. There's not a magical force field that extends over Chris Olave and getting 21 fantasy points. Eventually, Chris Olave will get 21 fantasy points and you'll be very happy to experience it. I know a lot of you guys are probably in on Terry McLaurin. I am not. I mean, he's a fine guy to mix in with Jaden Daniels. Yes, as It's Mookie points out, if Chris Olave caught that touchdown last week, his ADP would be in the 20s right now. The only chance, like the way that you beat these games is you have to be on the shifts in terms of player distributions before they happen. It's the only way to win. If you're doing what everyone else got accustomed to last week, you've already lost. Like you literally are excommunicated from winning in these games. Quentin Johnston just obviously very strong in this spot. Wouldn't consider any of these guys to be gems, but guys that I've already clicked myself. Real quick, I have to address this. If you start Mason Taylor over Tyler Warren, you deserve what you get. You deserve the loss that will be coming to you. Please do not ever bench Tyler Warren. Devonta, clickable. Golden, clickable. Don't love it. Keenan, honestly, I don't love. The Keenan stuff. It's just like, it's a very good real life fantasy role. It's not a particular, or it's a very good real life role. It's like not that awesome of a real fantasy role because he just doesn't generate any yak. Like he's just an old guy who catches the ball and falls down. I'm not saying you can't click him. I'm not making him a key part of my strategy. I think that Michael Pittman Jr., in terms of like a guy who's like actually really not drafted, Josh Downs has a concussion, is not going to be playing this week. He's huge leverage on Tyler Warren, who is going to be big time drafted this week, which I think is, an important strategy thing to distinguish. Wandale, I will admit to have clicking Wandale a couple times. I don't think that he is like this awesome play. He actually projects a little bit better than you would think. Wandale with a better raw projection here. Something is wrong with these Chiefs projections. Yuta and Adam need to fix this Chiefs stuff immediately. Devonta Smith projects okay. A lot of these guys are projecting just okay from a median perspective, but they have like really high ceilings. And Wandale, I guess you wouldn't really think of as being a ceiling guy, but he already this year has a 24 ball and a 17 ball last week and is legitimately again going to be on like, whatever. I mean, Wandale Robinson could be on 90 total teams in the main BR this week. And I've got a total puker for you here. But Jerry Jeudy leads the entire National Football League in routes. That is a true story. No player has run more routes. There's a combination of things that go into that, but it is insane. 269 routes for one Mr. Jerry Jeudy, 246 for Pickens, 239. I mean, basically just look at Jerry Jeudy and then look at the other top 10 of these guys, and it's all guys that you would have wanted at some point or do want right now in fantasy. Jeudy gets this incredible matchup against the Miami Dolphins. There are probably some hilariously bad Dolphins defensive metrics. Net passing yards per attempt, the Miami Dolphins are 5th worst in the entire National Football League. That would be about what you would anticipate in terms of expected points. Oh, maybe I probably shouldn't stop sharing my screen. In terms of expected fantasy points, the Miami Dolphins are the only team worse than the Dolphins is the Dallas Cowboys. You've made a lot worse decisions in your life than clicking on Jerry Jeudy at 35.9 this week. I certainly am not going to do it all that often. Yes, it is a very bad weather game. I mean, maybe if I'm doing 150 teams, I might take Jerry Jeudy twice, something like that. Maybe 5 times, because I'll have 300 teams or whatever in total BRs. But I think that ultimately your list of guys that you want to build your strategy around is this. I think it's CeeDee Lamb, Xavier Worthy, Chris Olave, Quentin Johnston, and Michael Pittman Jr. at the wide receiver position. Lucky for us, tight end is actually just like pretty straightforward this week. Don't think that we need to overextend ourselves when looking at the tight end skeleton keys this week. You want to be way overweight these top guys: McBride, Warren, Ferguson. I think that Travis Kelce makes a nice little hedge on non-Rice, non-worthy teams. Harold the Fannin Plannin leads all tight ends in the National Football League in yards after contact. Not yards after the catch. I made this mistake the other day. I don't even remember which video I did, but it's yards after contact. Fannin leads the entire NFL. And Michael Mayer and Aronde Gadsden are my scrolls of choice. Although ultimately what you should be doing with Ertz, Henry, Darren Waller, Mason Taylor, Michael Mayer, Aronde Gadsden. Let me show you guys a little handy feature here. You might not have heard of this before, but it's called random.org. And this really is what you should do. You should put 1 through 5, or if you need to name it, you can. And I would literally do this. I would literally put 1 through 5, and I would just random number generate your decision in a given lineup based on these guys all project the same. Goddard, Fannin, Ertz, Henry, Waller, Taylor, Mayer, Gadsden, Taysom Hill, Evan Ingram, TJ Hawkinson. These dudes are all the same. So you're either correlating or you're RNGing them. And that really is all there is to it. So at the tight end position, you have McBride. That is a terrible projection. Need that to get fixed. It's not a particularly good Michael Mayer projection either. A lot of these guys are just super flat. Waller and Kelce are the same. Henry and Juwan Johnson are the same. Fannin and Hawkinson are the same. These dudes are all the same. You can even use a duck race randomizer if you like fun. But the key point is that McBride, Warren, and Ferguson are in their own tier. And you could even say that Ferguson is not a part of that tier with CeeDee Lamb returning. The Fannin bet would win in a duck race. It's true. You might get an unrandom response if you do that. I assume that the Run the Sims projections do account for the Goddard touchdown rate. In fact, we can even go look in the Run the Sim Runner. What do we think Dallas Goddard's touchdown rate is? I bet it's pretty high. Yeah, Dallas Goedert, 24% of the teams receiving touchdowns. Let's compare that to Travis Kelce. Kelce is getting 15%. Yeah. So I think the projections do in fact account for it. These are all guys I will be overweight on. McBride, Warren, Ferguson. Actually, honestly, you know what? If I'm just going to be intellectually honest, I probably won't be overweight on Kelsey because I will be more overweight on Xavier Worthy, but I do think he's a good click. I like Harold Fannin Plannin. I really like Michael Mayer, and I really like Aronde Gadsden, who actually increased his routes run and his target share last week with Will Dissly back in the lineup, which I think is pretty impressive. So there you go, folks. That is exactly how things are done this week. And I will even, you know what? Let's actually add a wrinkle to this, and let's add favorite stacks to target in week 7 BRs as well. Obviously, Jaden Daniels and Deebo Samuel, that would probably be the top one. Mahomes and Xavier Worthy is going to be the second one. Total layup here with Dakota Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I don't love. I honestly, I'll just keep it real. I don't love the Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown stuff. I like them more naked. I think that Herbert and Quentin Johnston feels incredibly strong. I think that Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren, I might even, honestly, I should maybe even rank that one a little bit higher because I like that one so much. And then my break glass in case of emergency that I've gone towards a couple times is Jackson Dart and Wan'Dale Robinson. But there you go. There's a look at basically the stacks. There is a promo code for Splash Sports if you want to go over to Splash Sports and play in our second chance survivor, or maybe more importantly, our second chance touchdown survivor. You can use promo code SWOLY over on Splash Sports. Do I research route run, target rate, defenses against? No, none of that stuff is important to me. But maybe it is to other people. Daniels, Deebo, Mahomes, Worthy, Dak, Lamb, Herbert, QJ, Daniel Jones, Tyler Warren, Jackson Dart, Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm not breaking news to any of you. You guys are all smart, intelligent, forward-thinking humans. You don't need me to tell you that it's a good idea to draft Dak and CD together. The only other thing I would tell you is that the stacks are going to be super high owned. Like these combinations are going to be higher than normal. In fact, let's just go take a look over at BBMDB from last week, assuming that our boy PD still has it up. So I'm trying to remember what some of the really high owned combinations from last week might have been. It's kind of already out of my brain. Here you go. So let's go just off the top of my head. Let's go Dak Prescott and George Pickens together, because these should be fairly, yes. So there you go. Of the whole tournament, 2,705 teams had Dak and Pickens together. Let's just take. I'm having a hard time remembering. All right, so let's go. And let's go instead Dak and Olave, two non-correlated pairings. 161 teams found. So you do need to be doing things like that because you would very much like to be in the narrower part of the game tree. Honestly, I don't even. These guys would not have been on the slate last week. Gibbs and Jamar would not have been on the slate together. So there you go, folks. Let's go ahead and go put these lessons into practice over in the main BR, and let's see if we learned anything. Do we treat Pickens just like T? I mean, I definitely still think you want to have a lot of George Pickens this week because that game total is so strong. It is not like the game totals that we've been used to. And Pickens is also capable of getting there on limited volume. So I guess maybe that is treating George Pickens as if he is T Higgins. But I want to be either at the field or overweight on him. Sounds like Terry McLaurin is going to play this week. Yeah, Bryson Tett would have been very popular. I play some college football DFS every now and then. Yeah, Charger stacks were very popular as well, which is not to say that you can't play them, right? The takeaway is not, oh, you can't stack, you can't engage in correlation. The correct take is instead, how do I make my Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey team unique? How do I make that lineup sim better? Right? I agree the ADPs seem off. Yes. The ADPs are bad. I actually am doing more drafting early this week than in a normal week because I want to be ahead of I would very much like to be ahead of the CD Lamb ADP rise. I want to get as many teams with second round CD Lamb as possible, which to me just feels good. I mean, I would assume CeeDee Lamb is going to end up being the highest projected wide receiver of the slate, probably even ahead of Justin Jefferson. I maybe even by a point or something like that. So I would consider it a good idea to be getting in on him relatively early. We got Jacobs here as we demonstrate how to do it in our first BR draft. Josh Jacobs, by the way, really funny. It's always very funny to me when one of these guys ends up as a first round pick in BRs, but then is not really owned in salary cap DFS. So here's an example of I think I'm actually going to take Daniels here because I've actually been a little bit lighter on Daniels to begin with than taking Pickens. I think there's no chance that Devon Achane gets traded, but maybe he will. Maybe I guess it's possible. 200K puppy winner Raymond Zanny wants you to put $100 on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. But I consider that to be poor financial advice. Bill Krosky Merritt, there you go. Brown A to my left, nose ball, and I bet oh, he's actually just auto drafting. Otherwise, I was going to say I was going to you have less than 24 hours. You have less than 24 hours before that happens. Before CeeDee Lamb is a first round pick. All right. Let's just take Debo here. So we've got a very non-unique team. Very important to remember. Raymond, I love you, brother, but the Cincinnati Bengals will not be making the playoffs. The Cincinnati Bengals right now are maybe the least likely team in the AFC. I wonder in the odds market, are the Bengals the least likely team to make the playoffs? The Bengals are currently listed at 9-1 to make the playoffs. The Raiders are 14-1. The Dolphins are 20-1. The Jets and the Titans are less likely. I could see Chris Olave getting traded to the Patriots. I believe he has an absurdly high trade kicker. Though it's Waddle that has the really high trade kicker. Okay. So we have Jacobs, Daniels, and Debo, which means that we can't be taking like a real chalk combo at this next turn. Like actually Ferguson on this team is kind of bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little scroll here to Swift. I would like to get Xavier Worthy or Chris Olave as our next, and then we would probably a tight end outside the top 35 in ADP seems best. If you bet the Miami Dolphins, to make the playoffs. Gamblers Anonymous just shows up at your house and commits you. It's true. I've heard that. I get myself in tricky spots here, particularly after seeing the chalk teams that won last week. Because I don't really want to give up too many projected points here. This is actually like a tricky spot to deal with. But taking Ferguson does make it. You know what? I'll let the room decide for me. I'm going to take Worthy here. And if Ferguson is still left, okay, there you go. T-Box takes him, so I don't have to. Yes, I have heard this noise as well, that the New York Football Giants are trying to get Chris Olave because they believe they have their quarterback. And you know what? You know what, Brian? I also believe that the New York Giants have found their quarterback. You find your quarterback, you get Olave. Olave has not gotten his contract extension yet, which actually makes him easier to trade because then you can trade for Chris Olave and you can give him a contract extension. You can give him the deal that you want. All right. So we do need a tight end, and we need a tight end that is not like giga drafted. We could take Ertz for the double. We could just take Michael Mayer. Maybe this is a Darren Waller spot. You know what? Waller is a fun way to play this. Let's do that. That gets us a non-chalk combination. Jaden Daniels, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Deebo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, and Darren Waller. There you go, boys. Let's hop back into another one. Maybe we'll do a PTP here in a few. Davis, I saw Liam is on the IR for being old. Yeah, he messed up his back. I feel like I've told you this before, Ryan. I work the hours that I work, and Liam is helping the future children of America by teaching chess school. I kind of just think, this is per Gehrig, he thinks that Harold Fannin, the Plannin Jr., is just the straight up tight end 3 this week. I don't know, brother. I don't know. I would have a hard time. I feel like that might be your slap brain talking. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not your slap brain, and maybe my brain is wow. A celebrity guest joins. One Mr. Peter Overzet. Yeah, I do think Chris Godwin is droppable in a 10-teamer for sure. All right. I've got some rankings rigged in here. Let's see if they're any good. Tried to apply some logic. We'll see if ChatGPT probably did not give me anything that good. I will say I do think we could see a dichotomy this week. Biff Tannen takes Josh Jacobs first overall. I do think we will see a dichotomy this week where Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb end up being first round picks, which forces there's going to be some early week super teams for sure. Have a Hurts, H.N. G.T. Lamb, Brown, McBride drafting right after it drops. Yes, yeah, you can get drafting. I always like to draft on Monday. I think there are lots of combos you can get to early in the week while drafting on Monday or Tuesday that are not possible later. Although, as many other smart people have noted, Battle Royale is not a closing line value game. It is a combinations game. I actually can't really think of any combination of weak armed quarterbacks worse for a wind game. I really cannot. Let's do a Mahomes team, bro. Let's just give the people what they want with Patsy. In general, I just think it's a bad idea to go full chalk in BRs because you're going to end up chopping. It's almost hard to actually overstate how bad having a duplicated team in BR is. It cuts your EV in half. It literally takes your potential range of outcomes and it cuts it directly in half. We're gonna take one Mr. T McBride here, coming off an 8 for 72 and 1. And then we've got Worthy available for a stack, or we could just go, honestly, naked Mahomes is totally fine this week. I actually don't think there's any problem with going Mahomes without any of his guidance saying, all right, he throws one to Hollywood, one to Kelsey, one to Pacheco, runs one in, obviously. Patrick Mahomes has the second most points generated rushing of any quarterback in fantasy other than Jalen Hurts. And it's only just by a hair that Jalen Hurts has more rushing points than him. It's actually quite close, which I know you wouldn't think, but is the case. So I guess the question is, do we take Worthy next? Or do we take Swift? Vidal looks good. Mason looks good. Wow, I can't believe Pacheco has a draftable projection this week. What an insane occurrence. Pete did A-Chain, Jaden Daniels, and Breece Hall. So Pete, the projections respecter, has logged in. So that's where Breece Hall's ADP is going to end up. I hope you enjoyed that look into your future there. We probably will just take Worthy here, honestly. Worthy Vidal would be a rational turn, I think. All right. So we'll go. You know what? If we have Mahomes unstacked, that'll be unique enough. We'll take DeAndre Swift, who I don't love as chalk. Pacheco will definitely not outscore Rushy Rice this week. Pacheco might get like 12. All right. And then let's do. You know what? Let's just get weird, man. Let's do AJ Brown. And then we can end it with QJ. We can end it with, wow, Romeo Dubs showing up in the projections. Would not have anticipated that. Could even end it with Michael. No, don't want to do Michael Pittman Jr. Definitely will not be clicking Jacoby Myers this week. That is for sure. Man, Pete did me dirty right there. Sniping Xavier Worthy. You hate to see it. Well, I will probably have enough. I will probably have enough Xavier Worthy teams to get by. Yes, I will be making some underdog picks for the Thursday night football game tonight. That is for certain. Trying to wait a little bit closer to game time for those. They tend to perform a little bit better closer to game time, actually. Okay. Can kind of just go anywhere my heart desires right now. You know what? There you go, folks. I put it into the ether earlier. The current National Football League leader in targets. No, not targets, routes. Jerry Jeudy Patrick Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, AJ Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Trey McBride. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. We're all done. And let's do another one. We'll do another one, and then we will hop in and do a Dog Bowl qualifier. Feeling good about the DBQ this week. Yes, I already have a Rashee Rice pick'em ticket, pick'em entry in. I did a $34 entry on Rashee Rice higher than 56.5 receiving yards and Quinshon Judkins to score a touchdown. I wonder if that's moved, or I wonder if they kept it there at 56.5 receiving yards. I mean, I guess maybe I don't feel as bad about AJ Brown as the rest of the global population. The time is coming, and the Eagles have actually trended towards a higher pass rate over expectation, which to me would certainly suggest they are going to get AJ Brown going sooner rather than later. I took Tony Pollard on a Dog Bowl qualifier in the 6th. That's really something, brother. Can't decide if I think that's good or not. Another tricky thing I've been dealing with recently is when to disrespect average draft position. I don't think it's right now, but maybe it is. Like I don't want to be light on Devin Achane. I will be an ADP respecter in the first round, even though in this room with 2 badges behind me, CeeDee Lamb is not coming back to me. No chance. Will Lamb be coming back? Yeah, Colt Fang MF behind me. He knows, and he's taken Justin Jefferson over Judkins. Rice goes. It feels incredible to have Rashee Rice back in our lives as a click. We missed him. We're glad he's back. Now Colt Fang is gonna. Yeah, okay, there you go. So I'm actually gonna be kind of left in the lurch here. There's not gonna be an obvious. Oh, okay, never mind. There is an obvious pick. We're gonna take Jaden Daniels on this team. Gonna end up with a lot of Jaden Daniels this week. The Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the only reason to respect ADP is if you want to balance your exposures. Really, I just want to balance my first round exposures. Like I would like in a given slate for my exposures for Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Devin Achane, Justin Jefferson, and Judkins to more or less match the field. In this slate, I would like to be overweight CD, and I would like to be underweight on Barkley. And if Pickens' price remains here, I think I'll probably end up a smidgen underweight on George Pickens. Just a smidgen, not a ton. All right. And we'll take this time. I'm going to take Tyler Warren. I took McBride last time. That's another one where I'm happy to disagree with the field a little bit. I just think Tyler Warren is probably better than Trey McBride. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's America and it's my God-given right to be a free thinker and to think that. So do I want this to be a Terry team? Do I want this to be an uncorrelated? I almost kind of prefer Daniels uncorrelated to open up the running. Again, maybe a hot take. Oh, I'd actually be curious the sim results on that. on if Daniels ends up being a higher EV pick with McLaurin, with Debo, or without one of them. I would guess this week maybe slightly more EV with McLaurin just because he features on fewer teams. Like Daniels Debo will probably be one of the highest owned combinations of this slate of games, which is okay. Debo might make it back to me, and I might have to eat my own words. Okay, there you go. Debo goes. I feel like we still are kind of we're still kind of holding our preseason expectations on Debo Samuel. He's been so much better than his preseason expected. Wow, Bill Krosky-Merritt as a 4th round pick. I do like that as well. I think we just easily take Xavier Worthy here with this pick. Pretty much happy to do that every single time he's there. He's probably going to end up being he's probably going to end up being my most drafted player this week. Wow, Rico Dowdle. All right, there you go. Xavier Worthy. Bada bing, bada boom. What do you got? Do you guys think I'm being overzealous on Xavier Worthy? I honestly don't, but it's hard for me to tell because I am losing my objectivity. I'm losing my objectivity as the Chiefs get better. I mean, they beat the Lions on national TV. Bryce gets his role as a backup quarterback is to feed the number 1 pass catching option. Well, could have been. I would have maybe been in. Let's do Vidal on this one. I could have maybe been into clicking Marvin Harrison Jr. this week. See, that's the thing is I do think that Rashee Rice being back is just good for the offense. It's a lot better to have Rashee Rice out there than it is to have Juju Smith-Schuster out there. Okay. And then our final wide receiver pick, I could take McLaurin, who is not in the projections. Interesting. I could take McLaurin. I could take QJ. I could take Olave. Could also just take AJ Brown. Could take Tet. Definitely not taking Romeo Dubs. That's going to be a projection that I ignore. I know. The Chiefs running back room, God bless them. It's not great. Rice practiced with the team all offseason, but then was suspended during the season. Let's do... God, what do I want to do? Let's do Jordan Addison. Yeah. Rice has not been, he's not been with the team, but he has been with, obviously Rice has a relationship with Mahomes's trainers. So I think that there's probably been some contact there would be my guess. No, I would not start Kamani Vidal over Bill this week. Yes, the Colts cornerbacks are really bad. All right, let's go do a Dog Bowl qualification draft and see if we can find a trip to Kansas City in the cards for us this week. Hard week for 12-mans. I tell you what, the 12-man streets are a lot harder. I did a flea flicker yesterday and did not love the way that it went for me. The whole first round, look at this. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs, then Rico Dowdle, then Genti, all his first round picks. You're at running back 10 by pick 13. You're at running back. I wonder when you get to running back 20. Oh god. Oh, it's so bad. There are no scrolls at the running back position, basically. Yeah, sixth round in the 12-man stuff is very, very hard this week. I don't really have any great ideas. I mean, I guess one of the things you can do is you can always just wait for tight end. Yeah, I would I would tell you to not start wide receiver, wide receiver. That much is for sure. Waiting for one. Man, I know finishing in fourth has just got to be so insanely tilting. I know the guy who finishes in fourth every single week in the DBQ has to just be miserable. In terms of true wide receiver scrolls in the 12 mans, could definitely do Mims. Could do Malik Washington. I don't know if I would. Booty honestly feels tough. DJ Moore feels pretty good. What is Trey Tucker's ADP? Trey Tucker, not even a scroll, sitting there at wide receiver 27. If you truly wait to the end at tight end, yeah, you can get Mayer, you can get Gadsden, TJ Hawkinson. I mean, in terms of a guy who's going to run 80% of the routes, is Pierce a good scroll? I guess Pierce probably is a pretty good scroll. All right, we've got Copper Prices, League of Items, Sacrilegious, Doctor One the Professor, Colt Fang, Sun 007, DC Fantasy. It's always a murderer's row in the 12 mans, you know? Just not really anything that can be done about it. You want to scale to the top of the mountain. Yeah, the scrolls are everywhere. Oh, yeah. It definitely could be a 3 wide receiver week, and it's just my pure stubbornness. I'm spending $25 on this draft. I'm taking Javonte Williams. I just am so over the Saquon Barkley experience, dude. Well, I just gave you a gift, man. I just gave you an ADP value. You are either going to get Judkins or you are going to get Barkley. Um, I am just, I can't, it's $25 of my own money. It's not site credits. I just can't do it with Barkley. This is a man who knows football, just getting insane giga mega leverage. On Rashee Rice, on Xavier Worthy, on Patrick Mahomes. He still is getting all the rushes inside the 5 for the team. I definitely don't think they should stick. I don't think the Vikings should stick with Wentz for fantasy purposes. I think a lot of people were far too quick to bury JJ McCarthy. Literally imagine in July, you tell yourself you're snapping off Javonte Williams over Saquon Barkley in the first round of a Dog Bowl qualifier. It would be unthinkable. My brain would not have been able to get there. I can't believe it. All right, Dowdle goes. I was kind of hoping to not have to make a decision on Dowdle. Rice goes. Jefferson goes. Bill Krosky Merritt. Imagine telling yourself Bill Krosky Merritt. Yeah, 12 spot stinks, dude. It does. 12 spot. You really, I think, want to be picking towards the front in 12-man drafts this week. All right, let's go. What do I want? I don't want to say what I want because I don't want you guys to come and steal. I don't really want to take Genty. I don't really want to take Dobbins. I do like taking Vidal, but there's another thing that I'm trying to experience, and I wonder if it's even going to be possible. Yeah. C Money knows what I want. You know what? Something I think would be fun would be on these limited weeks would be if they would include the Sunday night football games and the Monday night football games in the DBQ. I know they never would because they like the quick sweat, but it's just so hard to draft teams you like in the 12-mans to begin with. I would like if they would extend the slates. Because it just, I mean, the game is the game and everyone's playing in the same sandbox with the same parameters. But man, I do kind of wish it was the other way. You know what? I actually am gonna chicken out here. And I'm okay, never mind. Socrates took Mahomes anyway, so I'm gonna take Kamani Vidal, who I actually feel pretty strongly about. I guess I haven't really thought about quarterback scrolls. Dart, I think you can get away with. Rattler, I think you can get away with. So I guess the room can't really lock you out at quarterback. I guess they can try. I was gonna try and do Mahomes and Worthy, but Socrates killed me there. Oh, J.K. Dobbins, copper prices sent second round J.K. Dobbins, and I can't even say it's wrong. Second round J.K. Dobbins, first round Javonte Williams, second round Kamani Vidal. I mean, what world would you have thought we were living in? You would have assumed that Kamani Vidal got traded. Truly. If I would have told you that Kamani Vidal was a second round pick on October 16th, you would have assumed that Kamani Vidal got traded to the Cowboys or to the Bears or something, and that Kamani Vidal was starting over DeAndre Swift. Yeah, Mason super steamy, which is legit. Okay. So Warren went. That was my other idea. It's a dog bowl to get to Kansas City. So we're going to take the Kansas City Chiefs fastest wide receiver, the fastest wide receiver in the National Football League, Xavier Worthy. Oh, Vidal smashing is way less painful than the alternative of living in a reality where Kamani Vidal is smashing for us. Kevin got a Tuesday morning Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Rashee Rice team. Pretty hard to get to now. The 12-mans might be a little bit more of a closing line value game than the 6-mans. The 6-mans are really much more of a combo game. The 12-mans, you just have to get the right place. There's no substitute. Naked quarterbacks obviously are a little bit better in the 12-man stuff because it's just a lot harder to get the combinations that you want. You took your life in your own hands on that one, brother. What did you honestly think was going to happen? I actually don't feel bad for you at all. Maybe sometimes I would feel bad for you, but you thought I was going to take Ladd McConkey or Cortland Sutton over Xavier Worthy, Socrates. I think in the business they said you played yourself. I once compared getting sniped on Xavier Worthy to getting shot. GM, you're talking to Mr. GTemp 1017 here. Was last week's you finished 4th in the Wildcat GTemp? Sounds like CD is playing and Kittle is not playing. Nick is what it sounds like right now. Sacrilegious. Ooh, yeah, Sac has a sick team here. CD, Genty, with Dakota Prescott. Yeah, that's very strong. My team in this pod will not be finding a victory. If Zach's team is that good. Actually, has there been an update today on CeeDee Lamb? Mike Evans limited in practice today. Nothing on. I guess we'll probably know in about 30 minutes on CeeDee. And I think we'll get we'll get official combination. Copper Prices looked into his future and realized that he's going to have to take Spencer Rattler, and he's not feeling that good about it. Jack got 2 CeeDee and Javonte teams right when the contest released. Yeah, my official position is that it's definitely better for 12 mans to draft earlier in the week before projections have time to solidify. Just for comparing a worthy snipe to getting shot. Kevin, have you not seen the actual video? Kevin, there literally is a video that Zach Lenars made where he did the 50 Cent Mini Men song and compared. Well, it's just over an audio of me comparing getting sniped on Xavier Worthy to getting shot. Okay. Now, I need another wide receiver. There's not a quarterback I have set up. I'm fine with I'm fine with Dart. I'm fine with Daniel Jones. Honestly, I would taking JJ McCarthy would actually be really funny. Yeah. I Copper is never going to happen. Yeah, everyone was laughing at me in Discord this morning being unable to fill out being unable to learn how to code using ChatGPT. I got a creative writing degree from a state school, brother. Not my lane. Do I just take Drake May? I think I'm just gonna take Drake, and I'm gonna take Drake May, and I'm just gonna not correlate it. Yeah, that is what I'm gonna do. That feels absurd. Drake May normally goes at 20. Yeah, I'm doing May. Yes. Yeah, Interstellar yelling Drake May. That was like an obvious pick there. I wonder why League of I guess he's setting up a Bryce thing. Yeah, just type sim. Just go. It's that easy. Copper Prices. You go into you just open a text edit on your computer and you just say sim. That's all you do. It's that easy. So I bet the computer would tell me to take Booty with May. I'm not going to do it. I actually don't really have any interest in taking Keyshawn Booty, but I think that's what the computer would tell me to do. The other interesting thing is, do I take a tight end? Do I take the Plannon? Do I take Hunter Henry? Or do I say I don't care about tight end, and I actually would prefer to get a wide receiver that I like? What should I do? Like Rashid Shaheed, Jerry Judy. Judy honestly is a sick 12-manner. How many tight ends have gone? So 2 tight ends have gone, only 4. So they're all the good tight ends are going to be gone, but all the good tight ends are gone already. Really? Daniel Jones goes. So 3 quarterbacks after me, but 2 tight ends after me. Do I take the Plannon? Or do I take... I just don't... I guess... This is a tough spot, dude. This is a tough spot. You know what? I'm going to take Jerry Judy. He just is, dude. There's no way that Judy can be a bad pick there. I mean, he probably is, but that is a lot of targets to pass up on in the 5th round of the Dog Bowl qualifier. I don't know. Maybe I should have taken Henry. Henry might come all the way back around, honestly. You probably do want the correlation there. Yeah, Gadsden I like a lot. Yeah, this team is a lot of fun, and then I ruined it with Jerry Jeudy. I'm hoping that drops do count for points. Point per drop. You know what? I should have. Honestly, that is a great application of using a randomization. I should have done an RNG there and just done whatever it said. That's on me, honestly. That's tough. Sounds like Downs is not playing this week. Sounds like Downs suffered a concussion late in their game on Sunday and that he is not going to be playing. Don't believe he's here we go. Colts practice, no sign of Josh Downs, Charvarius Ward, and Ashton Doolin also not dressed. Wow. Rip as Theo Johnson goes right ahead of me. There are so many tight ends that you can scroll for. Like Taysom Hill at tight end 21. You can take Taysom Hill in a 12-man BR. No, it's never Noah Fant time. Tanner Hudson is your Davis Maddock disgusting dart for Showdown tonight. Speaking of which, I need to get my Showdown recording done for the patreon.com/Davis Maddox subscribers. Thoughts on this trade? Dak, Igbuka, Mason for Lamar and Jamar Chase. I don't know. I don't like trading for injured players, so I guess the Chase side. Bannon's still there. Henry's still there. Waller is a click. Gadsden is a click. They tried to take all the tight ends from me, and it didn't work, man. Mason Taylor, count me out on the Mason Taylor experience this year. Not into it. Or this week. That game is gonna just go by so quickly. I don't think people realize how few pass attempts they're gonna be in that game. All right, and there you go. Came all the way back around. And assuming that Socrates does not flex Hunter Henry, which maybe he will, he should take Hollywood Brown actually, or Jacoby Myers, or Jack Besh, Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, we're gonna take Hunter Henry, Drake May, Javonte Williams, Kamani Vidal, Xavier Worthy, Jerry Jeudy. And Hunter Henry. Well, Cade Otton, not on the slate. Keep trade cut. I mean, definitely keep chili. And I guess for me, I don't drink. Well, I love apple cider though. I'm cutting flannels. When you have a big, strong, muscular chest, flannels actually look weird. They're not a great look on me. Copper prices. So I'm keeping chili, I'm trading cider, and I'm cutting flannels. Do love fall though. Big fall guy. Oh yeah, I take a shot of apple cider vinegar every day. In fact, just before I started this stream, I just ate my chicken breast, took all my supplements, and washed it down with a shot of apple cider vinegar, and then had a nice glass of Diet Coke. All right. Drake May, Javonte, Kamani Vidal, Xavier Worthy, Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Henry. Let's knock out these single entries. I like doing this on stream. So let's do the victory formation. If you guys want to hop in there. I'm definitely not as barrel chested as Soccer Dave. No one can get the barrel chest like Soccer Dave. Single entry BR strategy. I know exactly what I'm going to be trying to do here. Bourne ends up wide receiver 1 on San Francisco rest of the season. I don't think so. I'd be pretty doubtful about that. Doesn't mean I'm right, but I do think that Juwan Jennings is pretty good. But he does need to get healthier. All right. We drew the third pick. I just want to take Rashee Rice. I won't. I probably like Ertz a little bit. I probably like Ertz a little bit less than the market this week. Feels like McLaurin coming back is not particularly great. Mostly just because Debo is so good. That's the big issue. Debo is just he's on his grind. All right. Let's do I want to do a CD team? That could be fun. CD and then try and figure it out at running back. I don't love that the projections are so light on Quinshawn. I tell you that much. How many extra large shirts are draped over Soccer Dave Smith machine right now? A lot. Many. The answer is very high. You know what? Oh, okay. Let's take Jacobs. I was about to say let's just live a little, but I will be living a little with Josh Jacobs, Mr. Dylan Courts, last week's Dog Bowl qualifier TD Pick'em entry winner. By the way, Dylan hit a 193x last week. Guy absolutely knows football. Now, I wonder, there's probably no way I'm able to get CD to come back to me. Be pretty sick if he did, though. All right, there you go. Judkins goes. Oh, we've got an auto drafter. Always interesting. There you go. 198. All right, so the issue is CD is not going to get past this auto drafter who's in front of me. And we might even have two auto drafters here. So he's doubly not getting back to me. Man, I will never forget the auto drafters in the big board this offseason. Literally nothing worse, nothing more annoying than the auto drafters. Just kind of messes the whole flow of what you're trying to do, because you're not playing against an opponent. You're just playing against the computer. All right, there you go. Lamb goes, Jefferson goes, Rice goes. So now we're just straight up not having a good time. We're gonna do Jaden Daniels, and that will get us back on track. That was a brutal sequence right there. Auto drafters going Lamb, Jefferson, Rice. Not what I wanted to have happen. That was not how I wanted that to go. So I will say one thing is in these single entry contests. I mean, how many entries are in the victory formation? Like 500? Yeah, 564. I don't care. I don't really care at all about the duping stuff. Your uniqueness is taken care of just by the size of the contest. So the question is, do I take Brees here, or do I settle myself with like DeAndre Swift at running back 2 team? Or just do the stack with Debo? Okay, well, Brees goes. So my decision got made for me. So I'm going to take Debo. So we've got the Jaden Debo stack. Could always do Trey Ferg as the bring back. Trey Ferg. Jake Ferguson. There is no such person as Trey Ferguson, but you can imagine if there was. Do I want to do? I could do a double. That would be kind of gnarly. Double stacking a 564 per. Well, the problem is it's too good, Aaron. Too hard to get 80% of Rashee Rice. We'll have 100% of Rashee Rice in salary cap DFS, which will be a nice fun time. Two Chiefs score more than Rice. Yeah, Worthy and Mahomes will get more fantasy points than Rice. Mahomes will have 35, Worthy will have 30, Rice will have 25. Man, I would snap take McBride, but this guy's going to take him. GR Campbell's going to take him. But if he doesn't, I'm snapping him up. Ooh. Okay, never mind. Flaming Phoenix will take him, which means I have to decide on a running back. I could just take Rico. That actually will. I am just going to take Rico. Trey Ferguson honestly does sound like he would smash if he was a tight end. Trey Ferguson is like an Illinois University recruit. All right, there you go. T. McBride. That's awful nice. Wow, the projections are just not in on old Jay Fergie, huh? Interesting there. Ginty over Rico, huh? Had a hard time getting there. They're 12-point road dogs. Not a great situation to walk into. All right, we're going to take Xavier Worthy. And then our final click is going to be Kamani Vidal, Jordan Mason. Huh. Maybe even a 3. Maybe this is even a 3 wide receiver team. I've seen worse 3 wide receiver teams. Or worse 3 wide receiver weeks, I suppose. I don't love it. It's just so hard in half PPR, man. It's so hard in half PPR. All right, May goes. So now I'm just fading the one guy taking Vidal. I'm fading Icy FFB. Mike McDaniels will be basically the best offensive coordinator in the league if the Dolphins fire him. I don't think the Dolphins should fire him. Feels like a lot of that stuff is out of his control. Well, we're about to know the status of the CeeDee Lamb rug pull, like very, very soon. Like literally, we might even know right now. CeeDee Lamb. Let's Google CeeDee Lamb practice. CeeDee Lamb is back at practice. All right, bang, here we go. Kamani Vidal. Jaden Daniels, Josh Jacobs, Kamani Vidal, Deebo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, and Trey McBride. Did Kittle practice? I don't think so. Wait, maybe he did. Not seeing anything on Kittle yet. Anything definitive. All right. Single entry team: Jaden Daniels, Josh Jacobs, Kamani Vidal, Deebo Samuel, Xavier Worthy, and Trey McBride. Let's cook a quick pick 'em up for these games tonight. All right, first thing is going to be lower than... Let's just do this. Just do lower than 15.5 rush attempts for Chase Brown. I don't even care if that's a multiplier. Let's do T. Higgins lower than 48.5 receiving yards. We'll do Jonnu Smith lower than 3.5 receptions. We could do we'll do Darnell Washington lower than 23.5 receiving yards. Let's get this Chase Brown one back in there. Oh, it's gone now. They actually took it away, bro. They said you can't. Okay. We'll go lower than 64.5 rushing plus receiving yards. That gives us a 10xer. Is there anything else we want to add in there? Roman Wilson lower than 1.5 receptions. Aaron Rodgers, Flacco. Scotty Miller. Sure, Scotty Miller lower than 1.5. We'll do $5 on the standard. No, Noah Fant is not the only healthy tight end. They have Drew Sample and they have Tanner Hudson. All right, there we go. $5 on the standard. And oh shit. I forgot. I forgot to click reuse players. Does Tanner Hudson have anything available? Tanner Hudson? No. I wish they... Is Tanner Hudson out? Bengals are lads. Because I swore they had another guy. They have Cam Grandy as well. Yeah. No. Oh, I'm saving my one boost. I have a 40% profit boost, but I'm saving that 40% profit boost for my the one that I do for YouTube Shorts. Yeah, Yoshi is like the worst player in the NFL. I think he had 7 targets and 3 drops. All right. What else do we got here in the lobby that seems interesting? Do we want to do... Where's the extra point? Let's do that. Single entry, 1K to first, 2,256 entrants. All right, Tanner Hudson being ruled out is definitely slightly better for Noah Fant. That is definitely true. Tanner Hudson would have been a very nice showdown play, though. I'm a little bit bummed out to not have access to that. All right, boys, let's get in here and let me get CD Lamb this time. I guess second round CD Lamb might be a thing of the past. It might be over. Might have existed from Monday to Tuesday and is now not part of what we have going on anymore. Oh, and I just got my Gladiator payment. Shout out to the rakeback system on Underdog Fantasy. Play $5 on Underdog, get $100 back with promo code Davis, folks. I want to look something else up from last week. Who do I think is going to win the Unk Bowl tonight? I mean, I think the Steelers will probably win. The The Bengals are the least serious fantasy or least serious football team I can imagine. Man. Okay, never mind. This draft started. Too late. It is very funny. It's these guys might be too old to be the Unks. Do the Steelers have a defense? I think the Steelers are all old and slow. But the Bengals just have nothing. The Bengals have nothing to play for. They have no... They have a bad offensive line. They have no pass rush. Isn't Trey Hendrickson hurt? Did I make that up? Is Trey Hendrickson injured? Is he questionable? Trey Hendrickson. Considered a bit of a long shot to play. Puka, no practice. Yeah, so hope you picked up old Whittington. Justin Fields, MVP, Hager for Heisman. Wow, all right, back-to-back Josh Jacobs at threes. All right, A-Chain goes, Jefferson goes. Pretty normal first round here. I'm begging, bro. I'm begging. In one of the single entry contests, let me get second round CeeDee Lamb. Jacobs Lamb, Jacobs Rice. These are the permutations that we want, folks. Hager for Heisman. Who is Hager? Javonte goes. Is that Javante's ADP? It's not, right? Yeah, 12. People are jamming. People are jamming Javonte. All right, don't take CeeDee Lamb. Take George Pickens here, guy. Take Saquon Barkley or Rico Dowdle. Come on. Come on, give it to me. Rashee Rice goes. Frog Clone, you hate CeeDee Lamb. God. Ah. All right, I'll take Barkley. Whatever. Oh, so tilting. That's so annoying. I just wasn't meant to have a nice life, guys. Just was not meant to happen for me. What's the PTP this week? Is it a good one? It's a 3-game PTP. Which I do like a little bit more when it's which I think is probably stupid of me, but it probably is kind of a fun thing. It is Pittsburgh. Oh my God, no, this is not a fun PTP. It is a cool combo, at least, I guess. And I took Daniels on the last one. I'm going to do Mahomes worthy on this one. CD is flop lagging. Okay. CD's flop lagging into week 8. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Remember in 2020? Oh, yes, I do. I remember. I mean, obviously I'm in a million dynasty leagues, so I had them both. I traded away the picks that were Judy and Lamb in one of my dynasty leagues for Tyreek Hill. Sounds like a huge L, but I won my league because I had Tyreek Hill for one of Tyreek Hill's explosion seasons. But I remember that. I remember that very well. All right. And we'll take Xavier Worthy. Don't mind if I do. And then what do I want to do at tight end? See, this is the thing, is I'm going to get myself with a lot of these duplicated starts. Honestly, it's true. Lamb took a couple of years to hit. It is a good lesson. QJ, AJ Brown, Jordan Addison, Ferguson's gone. Let's do Jalen Waddle. Because again, being duped doesn't matter in a contest this small. Remember the Jags had 2 first-round picks that year. Yes, they took C.J. Henderson and what was his name? Like Kaylavon Chesson. Wide receiver was a major need, so they took our boy, Laviska Shenault. Mighty Monarch, you might not remember how much us ship-chasing boys loved. We loved Laviska Shenault. We were clapping seals for that Laviska Shenault pick. Ertz, Kelsey, Goddard, Henry, Mayer. Should we do the double stack? You know what? You only live once. A Patrick Mahomes double stack. Bada bing, bada boom. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Jacobs got the nice ADP value there. Sick combo. Worthy, Waddle, Kelsey. That's a great way actually to not be duped, is to do a double stack. I wish I had the Laviska highlight reel. All right. Mahomes, Jacobs, Barkley, Worthy, Waddle, and Travis Kelce. Okay. There we go. Got the single entries done. I've got 10 hurry-ups left, 5 engage 8s. Do you guys ever do these? Do you ever do the early slate? Maybe I'll do the early slate this week because Mahomes is in it. Be kind of fun. Dante Thornton played the same amount of snaps last week as Justin Shorter. I'm probably out on that. DaBomb. What does DaBomb pay? $6K to first. QB sneak single entry 250 to 48 entrants. Oh, Mr. Big Rashi Rice hater ran a little warm on the afternoon slate early in the year. All right. I honestly just have no interest in doing the PTP because it involves the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll do a couple more BRs. Knock a couple more of these out. What else is going on YouTube today? I have to get the weekly rankings done for all the boys over on patreon.com/DavisMattic. So I need to do that. And then I need to record the Showdown podcast for the boys over on patreon.com/DavisMattic. Frog Clone has 100% Darnell Washington in the PTP. Stay blessed. Did you know that Laviska Shenault is younger than Devon Bailey? Is Laviska Shenault... Is he still on the Seahawks? No, he's a Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill. Incredible. Yeah, okay. Smooth Criminal. We will do a fullback dive right after this. We'll do one more BR, then we will do a fullback dive. Are you guys ooh. I misclicked and snap filled a primetime DaBomb down horrifically. I would drop Kendre Miller for Whittington. Yeah, I would. I would drop Kendre Miller for Whittington. Well, actually, or Quorum, because Quorum's banged up too. If you would be starting Whittington this week, Whittington, let's see here. What do we think the aggregate projection on Jordan Whittington is this week? Because I bet it's pretty high. We'll do I think I can get the full week projections up. In my sheet, I have got Jordan Whittington for 10.6 PPR points. That's pretty good for a guy off waivers. Yeah, I would start Whittington over Burden. Yeah, if you're starting him, I think you send it. I would love to know who Soccer Liam X is, by the way. So that guy has to be one of the biggest Swolecast fans in existence. Let's fucking go. Oh, let's go. Rashee Rice, CeeDee Lamb. I actually don't think I have any combinations of these two players. Dude, this is so... I can't even believe you're asking me this, but it's definitely Jordan Whittington over Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter has scored the 75th most wide receiver PPR points this year. 74th. I by the way have noticed this recently. The YouTube comments on my no, you definitely don't, obviously you don't have to drop Travis Hunter. The YouTube comments on like my redraft videos, they really do not like Rico Dowdle. They are big time believing that Chuba Hubbard is coming back to a big role for their team, which I just think is fascinating. Because most of the time, more casual fantasy football fans are happy. Is it Marker Tassel? Marker Tassel is good at the games. He says a lot of very thoughtful stuff in the Slappy Central Discord. He's a guy that we are happy to have. Rico Dowdle probably regresses to a modest 20 fantasy point game with Chuba back. It's true. It's true, COD. Yes, if you keep getting 101s, lean into it. There's no reason to not take the guy projected for the most points on the slate. There you go. Trey Hendrickson officially out for tonight. Dowdle is going to be the NFC Offensive Player of the Month and get benched. He's not going to get benched. Yeah. The dude is too good. Some guys are just too good. Okay. I got one guy I really need Marker Tassel to not take. And he's going to take Brees. So I'm going to take Bill. I'm inside this dude's head. Wow, Bam Knight has a knee injury. I would have changed my waiver strategy. Yeah. I'm so far inside this guy's head. Bang, Bill Krosky Merritt. Bang, Bill. Bang, Dowdle. I'm a Dowdle believer, bro. They're gonna try and not let me believe in Dowdle, but I'm gonna keep believing. I mean, has this ever happened in the history of Battle Royale? Ask yourself this. A guy has back-to-back 30-point games. Back-to-back. And then does not go in the first round the next week. I would guess that's never happened before in the history of BRs. Never once. How long have these games existed, by the way? I didn't start playing them seriously until last year. Have they been around for 4 years, 5 years? Honestly, I really don't know. Like, they didn't exist when the app first started. I really hope they stay around forever, by the way. It would be a big bummer if Pick'ems became so big that they went away. I would be bummed out by that. So now I have to figure out what I want to do at quarterback. So I'm probably going to take unstick. I could do Hurts, Goddard. I could do Herbert, Gadsden. I could maybe do Love, Kraft if it gets back to me. 3 years now. That 3 years sounds right. Sharps with Walker out. Did he get 30 though? I don't think Sharps got 30. I mean, the appetite seems pretty big for them because they're still doing. They definitely have never done 50K to first in week 7 before. They're longer than that. Yeah. I really don't know. I could do. Is there any other? Herbert, Gadsden, Nix, Ingram, Fields, Taylor, Wentz, Hawkinson, Dart, Theo. All these are probably silly. Man, I don't know what to do. Do I take Taysom? Taysom could be a funny bit. If Kraft is still there, I'm going to do Love Kraft. I think that's good. I just really do not like taking Jordan Love in fantasy football. That I was so heavy on Love in all format. Okay, well, there you go. Dylan took him. Okay, what we're actually going to do, we're going to take Fields, and then Fields, Goddard, Mayer, Waller, Ingram. And we're going to take Goddard. Fields, Goddard. Justin Fields, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Rico Dowdle, Rashee Rice, CeeDee Lamb, and Dallas Goedert. That's a pretty good team. I hope Nerdy would tell me the EV of that team was high. All right, we're going to do one more fullback dive for my boy Smooth Criminal Entertainment. If I can find it. Did I scroll past it? BR, Dog Bowl, Wildcat, Hurry Up, Engage 8, Onside Kick, Victory Formation, Da-Bomb, Third and Long, Quarterback Sneak, Extra Point, Squib Kick, Flea Flicker, Double Reverse. There you go, fullback dive. They hit it from me all the way at the very end, bro. Fullback dive. Ooh, Terry not practicing. All right, that is a relatively big news story. Relatively large, actually. Terry McLaurin. Because that would make Ertz a much better pick. Commanders wide receiver Terry Lauren, who missed the past 3 games of the quad injury, was not present at today's practice ahead of Sunday's game versus the Cowboys. Okay. Good to know. If you told me in week 7 that I'd be starting Judkins, JCM, Javonte Williams, and Rashee Rice in the same DFS lineup, I'd think you were high. Oh, dude, do not make me answer this question. Don't make me answer the question of would I start Luke McCaffrey and Kayshon Boutte over Travis Hunter? Please. I'm begging you to not make me answer that question. But the answer is yes. Particularly Luke. Luke has actually been a pleasant little surprise. Let's go check the old Luke McCaffrey usage. LMC good on the punt returns too. right. Someone joined this fullback dive. LMC in the games that McLaurin has missed. 41% of the routes, 9% of the team's targets. Man, well, maybe not. You know what? No, actually, I lied. Not Luke. No, I'm not taking now that McLaurin is not practicing on Thursday. I'm done on him. I don't think Mark Andrews is dead. He just hasn't had his MVP quarterback. Not having an MVP quarterback does make football much harder. I'd probably consider myself a buyer of Mark Andrews. What is the 5,000 a first, 2,000 a second, 1,500 or third? There are 225 spots of 1,128 paid in the fullback dive. We have the 4th pick in this draft, so we need one other guy to get squirrely. GSD4, by the way, that's my old friend Gallon. He works for the Solver. He's been one of the biggest crushers in battle royales this year. So keep an eye on what he's doing, because whatever he's doing is probably pretty good. Maybe this is a spot to take a wide receiver early. I don't know. I have so many teams that are the same this week. I'm going to have so many combinations of Rashi with Chiefs Cowboys players. So many combinations of Jacobs with Daniels. Yeah, you know what? We're going to take Justin Jefferson at 4. Feels crazy to me that Justin Jefferson, where's Justin Jefferson at in receiving yards per game? And we just think he's having this terrible season. Justin Jefferson in yards per game is 3rd in the NFL, 89.8. And we're just yeah, this guy sucks. This guy's got terrible quarterback play. Can't draft Justin Jefferson. I think he's one receiving touchdown. Do we do Daniels? You know what? I'm going to disregard the projection here a little bit. We're actually going to take Javonte. There you go. You found one I wouldn't do. Olamide Zaccheaus' time to go to the bench is coming soon. Just wrote down that he picked under the radar gem Jonathan Taylor. #learning. I am a little bit less high on Jalen Coker than many of my other Slappy the Seal counterparts, because the Panthers offense has not evolved how we thought it was going to be. We don't have Tet McMillan smashing every single week. There you go. All right. Gallon takes Mahomes and McBride at the turn. It's true. Justin Jefferson drafters do freak out every time he's not on pace for 1,800 yards. Jefferson, Javonte. Happy, honestly, to take Brees or Tyler Warren here. Either feels fine. Jalen Coker is the skeleton key? I don't know. Maybe Jalen Coker is a click in 12-mans. Could make this team a Daniel Jones team pretty easy. I do think Daniel Jones is an awful good click. I got to be the only person who's just always making their clicks immediately in BRs. I don't know if you guys have that experience. I literally how many BRs can you guys do at a time? I've gotten up to 8 at a time without missing a pick. Oops. There you go. I clicked the wrong button. All right. Running backs from the same game. Bill and Javonte. Javonte, Ja'Cory Cross-Kamara, Justin Jefferson, Tyler Warren. Might leave myself up the creek without a paddle on quarterback, but that's okay. Renfro had a 2-touchdown game this year. Coker will probably get there at least once. Sure. What has to happen is the Panthers have to be comfortable throwing the ball in garbage time, which they were not doing earlier in the year for whatever reason. 3 is about the most I can do while not feeling the teams are bad. Well, I didn't say anything about the quality of the teams. It does help to, like, when you've done, like, if you've done 100 in a week, then the next 100, if you're drafting them multi-tabling, are a lot easier because you kind of get like muscle memory. You kind of know what you're doing. Like, you're like, okay, when I take Cortland Sutton, then I know I'm going to do this with the next pick or whatever. All right, let's do QJ. Then we'll do Daniel Jones, or we'll do Justin Herbert. Slight preference for Daniel Jones. Obviously fine with Herbert as well. See, and then I'll save you guys millions of hours of your life. Always have the autopilot on for your final click. Always have it. Daniel Jones, Javonte Williams, Ja'Cory Cross-Kamara, Justin Jefferson, Quentin Johnston, and Tyler Warren in the fullback dive. Folks, make sure you like the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. He knew he was going to get me with this. My rest of season projection for Worthy, he is going to score 13.8 half PPR points per game, which is pretty good. There you go. Leave it on some Xavier Worthy. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.